Good evening, everyone. This is Girish here, your host from Global Indians Forum. We've got another fantastic speaker and interesting subject on Hatha Yoga, and none other than Subhan Nair. We are very fortunate to have his time. He's very busy, teaching and training people on this particular yoga. Okay, classical hatha yoga. So, welcome, Shubham, and we'll just have a casual conversation and then get to know a little bit more about you. So, you want to introduce yourself because I might not be able to make justice to you.
Yeah, sure. Well, first of all, thank you for having me. It's a real pleasure to be here. And yeah, a little bit about myself. I mean, what to say? I was born and brought up in the UK, and to parents who came over from India. And my father came here in the 60s, so they were part of the initial wave of migration to the UK. At that time, he was literally given a passport to come here. So it was citizenship on just choosing to be here. And then and then I was both me and my brother were born and raised in the UK. From there, it was that whole kind of identity culture clash, where at home I was Indian, outside of the home I was British, and I was trying to find and understand my identity a little bit in this whole process. So for a long time, I was, rejecting my Indian background quite a lot because of this to try and be as British as possible, which is quite normal for everyone who grew up very similar to myself. You get caught up in this mentality that, the kind of image that is shown here, about all foreigners really, but it's very kind of just unconscious bias. But it seeped into me, I noticed, and it took me a long time to, you know, understand that, it's not just that, Europeans and America and the Western world is so much more advanced and everybody else is backwards. It took me a long time to come around to the whole fact that actually this is just all the kind of colonial conditioning. And but this is where my journey really, comes in because I went into, it went to India, stayed at a ashram over there, and started learning more about yoga and just the whole aspect of Indian spirituality and the whole viewpoint. It's a completely different lens to look at the world through, is that the way that it was told to us a long time ago. I realized this Indian heritage was actually my advantage. It gave me so much more. So this is the kind of journey into yoga for myself, into classical hatha yoga, because I had an idea of what yoga was. It's the same kind of thing that you see just on magazines and things like this in terms of the physical aspects. And then when I went to my first yoga program, I did no asana practice, no physical practice. It was just sitting, listening, and there was breathing techniques, and that's what opened up my mind to this and why I explored it. And then I realized there's so much depth here, which is almost unfathomable. It will take a lifetime to really go into. And so then I decided to go and live in the ashram, and just just be there and understand this, learn about
Okay.
this.
Yeah.
Yeah, yeah,
Excellent. So, like which ashram did you go in
yeah.
India?
So it was Sadhguru Jaggi Vasudev. Yeah, so his ashram. Back when this is 19 years ago that I came across him and did the first program. Back then, he's not as big a star as he is now.
Okay.
He's very, very big now. Whereas then there was maybe just 4 or 5 videos on YouTube and that's it.
Yeah. Okay.
So I just started following his programs, and then I went to the ashram, and I just wanted to grow, explore more aspects of myself.
And
And
was this in Coimbatore or
yes, this is in
Coimbatore?
Coimbatore. Yeah, yeah.
So what pulled you into Hatha Yoga? You know, like
Hmm.
if you can
Yeah,
throw some light on that.
yeah, sure. So I was fortunate enough to initially it wasn't Hatha Yoga because Sadhguru actually was more focused on Kriya Yoga, which is it is more about the inner energy. So you're using the breath and certain mudras and things like this to master your or heighten your energy process. Through this, I went on the journey with him and went to Mount Kailash with him.
Okay.
And there he started talking about this aspect of Hatha Yoga, and he was seeing aspects of Hatha Yoga being, distorted in the West and
Yeah.
imported back to India, you know. And he was saying that some of this yoga was very dangerous. Some of this can cause damage as well. And he wanted to put out a classical element, something that was much more closer to the original aspect of it. So then he eventually brought out this Hatha Yoga school, started training teachers, and I
Yeah.
joined the initial training. So I joined the second training back in 2013.
Okay.
And for me, it was a way of bringing some of this aspect, this wisdom, back to here, where I've been living this whole time. I wanted to transmit this element of it.
Yeah. No, that's true. Also, what is driving you in terms of teaching and training
Mm.
people on this classical hatha yoga? If you can just share, because there must be some purpose which has inspired you to
Yeah.
go out and serve the community in this aspect, and people are obviously leading a better life with
Mm.
incorporating the hatha yoga into their lifestyle, right?
Yeah. Yeah, it's a good question. I think when I first started doing this, initially it was just the Kriya Yoga,
Yeah.
which is part of the inner engineering program that Sadhguru teaches. I noticed such big changes in myself. So
Okay.
the first thing was, this is my life before was, I was doing a 9 to 5 job. I would go in, I would work, I would come back tired, and then all of a sudden I was just wanted to veg out in front of the TV, just not do anything, you know. And this was life, and this was normal. Everybody was doing this, so I thought this was also normal. Then when I started doing the Kriya Yoga, I noticed my energy levels were much higher. My clarity was much more. My interactions were, a little bit more alive. And then so after a full day's work, I had still had so much energy that I didn't want to go home. So then, this is what happens when you have this kind of perception, you start seeing opportunities all the time. They were probably there before, but I didn't see them. So all the things that I had ambitions to do, or maybe I thought it was a nice idea, look at something on the TV or in a magazine and think I would like to do that. I was just doing it. So, for example, I was signing up to martial arts, dance classes. I was doing playing football again, like I used to in my youth, playing better than I was in my youth as well. So I saw such a dramatic transformation that now all of a sudden I was living life
Yeah.
properly. I was fully alive. Every experience I wanted to do, I just wanted to throw myself into it. And so this transformed my experience of life completely. Now it was not this monotonous thing, but just, I was just opening every door that I wanted to open. And it
Yeah.
wasn't a thought process, it was naturally happening like that.
Okay.
So then when I saw this and within myself, but I was seeing everyone around me that was still, still caught in this loop.
Yeah.
And I saw that, as well, a lot of people have mental health problems and, they were really suffering. And I thought, so how come this is happening all the way around me?
Yeah.
And, and I'm enjoying life like this. So how can I give some of this experience to other people? So it was after this I went to the ashram and lived there for some time, and then I saw much more, I discovered much more about the mind, the body, all these things that is just not even spoken about especially in the West. So then when I came back from the ashram, I was now looking at what to do. And then that's when this teacher training opened up. I thought, okay, this is it. Let me go there. Let me discover tools, use these tools. You discover these tools so that I can teach them properly. And so then that's when I went there, did the training, came back and started offering the yoga to people.
So do you do that training in person or is it on Zoom?
It's all in person. So in the classical Hatha Yoga system,
Yeah,
everything is in person.
in
Maybe some
person.
elements are online, but the
Okay.
vast majority is in person. Uh,
Okay.
the
So
the
how is it different, from the other forms of yoga which you see most
yeah,
advertised or being most used to
yeah.
classical hatha yoga?
Well, this in-person thing is a very good example of that.
Okay.
Because if you're doing something which is just physical, then Zoom is enough.
Okay.
But when you're trying to transform the person from the very fundamental aspect of who they are,
Yeah.
something more is needed because the original system of yoga, in terms of the classical system, we're talking how it was thousands of years ago. The whole tradition was an oral tradition.
Okay.
It was always transmitted. It was never a teaching. And
Yeah.
the reason why this is because it's very subtle. It's not just about transforming the physical
Mm.
element. You're
Yeah.
transforming everything from within.
Yeah.
So this is why, we don't do it online because you need to be in the right environment
Mm.
in a very, we spend 1.5 hours before people come to set the right environment so that
Okay.
they're most receptive to the teaching.
Yeah.
So this is just one element, but essentially this is it. You're transforming a person from the in from within,
Yeah.
the total experience. Whereas most of the yoga that you see, you're talking about the physical body, how flexible you are, how,
Yeah.
the tonedness of the body and things like this. But nobody talks about how to be still, how to
Mm.
be calm, all these dimensions. So all of these asanas that you're doing is not just moving the physical body. You're actually, you're moving the energy within the system, trapping it in certain places, activating that, and then moving it to the next place and activating that. And then you suddenly start activating the whole system. Now, all of a sudden, the energy levels are higher, the clarity is more. And the way you perceive life is very different. Like I said, you start seeing opportunities which you wouldn't before because your perception is much more open.
Okay. And so does this involve the meditation as well, where you can increase your concentration and all this stuff?
So yeah, so meditation is not separate from yoga.
Mm.
So
Yeah.
it is a part of your all of this is just a yogic system.
Okay.
It's become separated mostly because of I think a lot of people see, people doing meditation in Buddhism. So
Mm.
then they just got this concept of meditation and they see it as separate as yoga because people only see the physical aspect of yoga. But
Yeah.
yoga is many practices, right? It's not just
Yeah.
the physical asana practice, it's meditation, it's pranayama, there's various different ways of going into this aspect of yoga. And just to
Okay.
come on that element as well, when we're talking about yoga, we're not talking about a practice.
Yeah.
So yoga essentially, the word, if you translate it into English, you would say union. And that what
Yeah.
that union is talking about is an experience. It's talking about a state of being. It's a way a human being can be.
Yeah.
So how to get into this whole experience of being is yoga. And there are practices connected with that. So all of these other things I mentioned about hatha yoga, pranayama, dhyan, meditation, all these things are the practices. They're not yoga itself.
Okay. So it's the different elements of yoga itself. Okay.
Yes. Yeah,
So
they're the practice element.
yeah, and Shubhan, probably you can help. People are now busy 9 to 5, family, weekends they are running around, dropping kids, picking up kids, and all those things. How
Mm.
can they start their journey towards yoga or classical hatha yoga?
Mhm.
Of course, you cannot do it overnight, right? So what are the
Right.
small steps at least they can start incorporating so that they can improve their life and
Mm.
probably go full time or learn the classical hatha yoga in person.
Yeah.
Because right now if you ask somebody, okay, I won't have time, that's the standard answer you'll get.
Yeah. See, I mean, first you have to look at, how your life is going because if there's no connection to what you're doing, if you're doing it just for doing it, it's not going to stick. So you first have to look at your life and how your life is going. You know, is the stress happening? Is work not going well? All these things. So you look at these things and think, okay, what is the best thing that I can do? A
Yeah.
very easy thing you could do is, for example, pranayama,
Yeah.
which is just the breathing. A lot of the time we're getting stressed because our system is out of control. You know,
Mm.
the system is out of control, the mind is out of control, you're overthinking this, getting stressed about these things. So what happens naturally is your breathing is affected.
Mm.
Now, a very simple way is if you look at how the mind, the emotions, and the breath is connected, according to this, this will tell you, it'll go deeper, it'll go quicker, something like this. So pranayama is a way of reversing that. You take control of the breath first,
Okay.
and then this has an impact on the mind and the emotions.
Okay.
So if you can balance out the breath, then naturally, these things will start calming down, and all of a sudden you'll see work will go easier, relationships can go easier, marriage can go easier, all these things, they become a little bit different because you're perceiving things and seeing things differently.
Yeah.
And how you respond to the situations, it's
Yeah.
not just a quick reaction. You're able to look at things clearly and say, okay, this is the best way to be, not
Yeah.
getting caught up in the mind and the emotion.
Yeah. True.
So
I think,
pranayama,
so you
yeah,
said like evaluating where you are first and then where you want to be next, and then start that journey slowly.
absolutely, absolutely. Because you look at your life and you see what you want to improve in your life.
Yeah.
Are you doing the things you want to do in life? Are you having the relationships you want to have? Are you including whether it's your spouse or even your children? You look at evaluate these things and see
Mm.
where these things can improve. Once you see that these things can improve, then you have to look at, okay, so how much time am I willing to spend on that? Is it worth just 4 minutes a day of doing pranayama to start changing these situations? If
Yeah.
yes, then you start with that. And even ask yourself seriously the question, how much time are you willing to spend on that per day to improve these things?
Yeah. True.
Because at the end of the day, your experience of life is your responsibility.
Yeah.
If it's not happening your way, then you have to do something about it. You have to
Yeah.
invest in it.
Yeah.
And
True.
you look at all these people who are, really successful right now. They have all the money, they have all these things, and now they're thinking, okay, well, what do I do with all this? We see most of them are going to these well-being retreats, and they're realizing, okay, I'm not happy. I'm not living life the way I want to.
Yeah.
So it'd be good to catch this earlier, so you
Yeah.
don't have to go through all this heartache, spend all your health, trying to make money, and then to use that money to try and get back your health. That there's
Yeah.
that famous quote about that,
Yeah.
but yet we get trapped in it.
Yeah. True. True. I think so. My takeaways from this is that you have to take time out,
Mm,
sit down and reflect the path you are going in, what you're doing currently in life. Is it
yeah.
something that you wanted to do, or is it a state that you're stuck in? And
Yes.
then slowly evaluate like what do you want to do ultimately, and then take it from there.
Yes. Yeah.
I think that's very, what do you say, crucial for every one of us, because you're so busy 9 to 5 till 65, 75 years. You
Yeah.
don't look back and say, okay, what did we achieve in all those years?
Yes.
And at what cost? Health, family, all those things you take into account.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It's very common, and unfortunately, I think the big thing right now is burnout. We're seeing
Yeah.
so many people suffering with burnout, and it's getting so severe that they're taking, 9 months of work. They're taking because their system is completely gone,
Yeah.
and it's taking so much time to get it back. But it need not be like this. If you just bring some awareness to what's happening,
Yeah.
is one thing which most people don't get. It's literally our one superpower actually is
Yeah.
this awareness to be within ourselves. What
Yeah.
separates a human being with the rest of the animal kingdom, according to the yogic system, is that we're able to be aware within ourselves.
Yeah.
So if you take this as a practice, this is essentially meditation.
Yeah.
It is literally everything that you see that human beings are doing that animals cannot do is coming from this ability to be aware within ourselves. Is literally a superpower.
Mm.
So meditation is literally enhancing that. If you can just bring this one dimension, then
Yeah.
literally just that, and things will change in your life.
I think so. Starting with pranayama, and then afterwards, they'll be able to move on to meditation, and then
Yes, yeah,
that's the major issue because the people when they close their eyes and sit down, they're not
yeah,
able
yeah,
to empty their mind. So
yeah. And that's the thing, the mind cannot empty. And because I'm also doing coaching as well.
yeah,
Most people call life coaching. I don't like this term life coaching because actually life itself cannot be coached. You can only coach what you do within your life. But yeah, so in this kind of industry, speak to a lot of people and they talk about mindset,
mm,
which is a contradiction because the mind never sets.
mm,
So whoever coined this, they have no understanding of the mind. The nature itself of the mind is movement.
changing. Yeah,
It's continuously looking for danger.
yeah,
That's its default setting. It's doing its job and it's doing its job wonderfully. But the problem is you just let it keep going, and
yeah,
then all of a sudden all these other things, overthinking, getting stressed about everything happens.
mm,
So just bringing this, something like meditation allows you to bring some distance so that, it can do its job, but it doesn't have any impact on you.
yeah,
When it needs to tell you there's some danger, it'll tell you.
yeah.
But the problem is it's constantly looking for danger and it turns into negative thoughts and you start believing in these thoughts and then we get into this whole cycle.
Kind of manifesting something you don't want.
Yes. Yes. And this is why we need to do the reverse.
Yeah,
Take control of your mind, then you can put it in the direction you want it to go. And then, yes, you'll see naturally things that you want in your life will start coming.
mm,
It's not difficult actually, and everyone is talking about it, and it's true.
mm. So, so when you want to share any, experience which you have come across, which might inspire others, or anything you want to share from your life, please go ahead.
Oh, what do I want to share from my life? I think one thing is being brought up in the West, and having this is the thing when you're born here and you grow up here, my mind became very Western,
Mm,
and so I looked at when I went to India, I just thought, oh, this is all backwards. Like I said, I got into this trap of this colonial way of thinking. And then, I just kind of lived my life the way that everybody was living it. I was going to the pub, I was doing, all these things, just getting drunk, and I thought this was life.
yeah,
Even though there were many things telling me it's not,
not.
ignore that. And then just kind of create my whole personality, my whole social life around these things.
Yeah,
Believe me, everything that I could do in that level, I did that. I did everything. I got the t-shirt. I went to the maximum of that. And then what happened to me was at a very young age. So just to kind of go back a little bit, my parents were quite spiritual. My
okay.
mother was probably a little bit more religious. So, at home we had all these pujas and everything happening, and we got to the temple and things like this. And then at one point I rejected all of it, you
Yeah,
know, and I actually went very atheist
okay.
and just rejected everything. I thought this is all nonsense. And I was free. I did all my nonsense. So then when I was 15 was the first time. And in the years leading up to this, my mother was going to see a guru herself. That's the first kind of real experience of an Indian guru. The guru's name is Mata Amritananda Mai. She's from Kerala, so she speaks the
Okay.
language because my parents are from Kerala. So then I went. I would go every year, and nothing would happen. I was a small boy at that time.
Mm,
Mum was having very big experiences. I don't know what was happening with her. I just got really freaked out by her. And I just thought, I don't know what was happening. I'll just go there, and you get a darshan, which is the hug. That's how you get the darshan. So I'll go and get my darshan and I'll go and find my friends like this. So then, this one year when I was 15, I went into the queue. I thought, okay, same schedule. I'll do this and then I'll go and find my friends. So then I was in the queue, and then all of a sudden, there's something different happened. The first time something different was happening, I could feel something just inside. This is very strange. But what is this? Is this something new? I just thought, okay, let me just be with this. So as I was going through the queue, the feeling was getting stronger and stronger and stronger. I thought, okay, this is definitely something. I've never experienced anything like this before. And it's just some feeling that's growing. And it was just growing in my chest. And then then we, proceeded onto the stage, it was getting closer. Now the feeling got very overwhelming to the point where I actually wanted to cry. And I'm a 15-year-old boy. I don't want to cry. I was just like, really, okay, now I've had enough. Okay, this feeling, I don't know what it is. You can go away, and just
Yes.
this. And I'm trying to keep everything in and just try and be very composed. And then when I went and took the darshan, I just exploded.
Mm.
Tears came, and it was just it's a very explosive feeling of almost like bliss or intense love or something like this. And then she actually told me to sit next to her for the first
Uh-huh.
time. So I sat next to her and I'm looking at the whole world. I'm looking at the people that were there. I was looking at the building. Everything was just alive. It was just so vibrant. Everything just looked very different to me. And I thought I sat there for 10 minutes and I thought, okay, I'll just go. And I looked at my watch and I'd been there for an hour
Wow.
and time just went and I was so confused. I was so confused. I didn't know what had happened.
Happened.
But then I got scared because I was like, I didn't know what this was. I had no
Yeah.
explanation for this.
Yeah.
So I didn't tell anybody.
Yeah.
And then, the next year I went and it didn't happen. I thought maybe I made this up or something like this. Then I watched a documentary on the BBC here, and there's
Uh-huh.
a very famous journalist called Louis Theroux, and he used to do these weird documentaries where he'll pick some subject and he'll just go, like women's bodybuilding or something, just go deep into that. So he did one of the people going to India to find themselves about
Uh-huh.
Indian spirituality. So he went down to different gurus and things like this. And Amma was one of those gurus. He went to the ashram, her ashram at the beginning,
Uh-huh.
and he didn't do anything and he went around India and he thought, okay, I'm finished with this. There's nothing to this spirituality. It
Uh-huh.
sounds logically good and everything, but I have I don't think there's anything to it. So he's on the way to the airport.
Uh-huh.
Whilst he's on the way to the airport, he's seeing pictures of Amma everywhere and realized
Uh-huh.
Amma was in the town where he was and she was on the way to the airport.
Okay.
So then he decided to go there and see her, and then he met somebody from the ashram that he met previously, and he goes, "Look, we'll get you darshan. Just quickly have darshan and go."
Yeah.
So then you see the image of him going, and he's narrating over it, and then he goes to get the darshan. He goes, "I don't know what happened. I
Yeah.
don't know if it was the crush of the crowd or what, but something incredible happened." And then
Okay.
he came out of that, and I saw his face, and I was like,
Yeah.
"I know this face." That's the same head. And then he couldn't find the words. He was just kept saying, "It's just an incredible hug," like this. He just couldn't find the words.
Yeah.
And I thought, okay, so that I recognize that happened
What
to me.
happened to you?
Yeah. So if it happened here, it
Yeah.
happened there on this BBC documentary.
Yeah.
What is that? So this is what opened me up to now started to seek, read books, listen to talks and things like this. But
Okay.
it took me up until yoga to actually really, open things up and understand what the mind is, what the body is, and what is going. And I can't even say I truly understand it. I have just
Yeah.
some conception of it.
Yeah. That was the turning point for you.
Yeah, because that was the first turning point, and the second turning point was when I went to Mount Kailash as well. That was another big experience. that's when I
No.
decided I will, I want to go to the ashram and really go deeper into this.
So was it you one on one with Sadhguru, or there
So
were
there
a lot of other
was a
people
group.
as well?
Yeah, there was a group of us, but it
Okay.
was a now the groups are very big and there's multiple groups. That time it was one group, and it was we were with Sadhguru the whole time. And
Okay.
and we got a small initiation at Kailash, which he doesn't really do much anymore.
Okay.
And so it was a very profound experience for me.
Yeah.
And then I thought, okay, there's something here that we can just try to, if anything, not a big experience, but just have some concept of just improving your life
Yeah.
and being the best that you can be, which
Yeah.
is what in the coaching industry they're doing in one way.
Yeah.
But there's so many more answers in the Indian side of things, in the Eastern way of looking at things, because the everything is of the mind in the West.
Yeah.
In the Western world, everything is of the mind, whereas mind is just one part of you. And this is what I learned from the East is, if unless all the dimensions of you are, at its optimum, then there's no use. If you do it with the mind, you may get somewhere, but many people don't. And
Yeah.
this is what a lot of people don't talk about in the coaching industry is that you're doing all this mindset thing, manifestation thing, and for most people, it's not working. Some people are there somehow hitting it.
Yeah.
But unless all the dimensions are being worked on,
Yeah.
then nothing really transforms within you. Your life doesn't change much.
Yeah.
So
No,
this is why I want to bring this wisdom to at least this industry as well.
no, thank you, Subhan, for sharing that.
Mm.
And as a closing, do you want to share, like, how can people reach out to you if they want to, learn or take kind of a coaching from you?
Yeah,
How
sure.
can they reach out to you?
Sure. So at the moment, in my yoga side is the one thing that's very established. So that's been on for 10 years. The yoga, sorry, the coaching is a little bit more newer. So it's been just a few years of that. So the yoga side has a website. So that'll probably be the easiest way to
Yeah,
get in touch with both of those things.
yeah, you
Um,
can share the links.
yeah.
We will publish this along with the video.
Yes. Yeah.
And yeah,
Great.
thank you very much. I didn't realize that we have already crossed 45 minutes.
Oh, wow.
Nearing 40. So,
Yeah.
the topic was so interesting, and then you are sharing your experience as well.
Yes. Yeah.
That people keep looking, and then that's the thing that they need to experience, and
Yes.
that will be the thing that will help them change or
Yeah.
start thinking, and then see where do they want to go. Are they leading the life that they were supposed to lead?
Yeah, because I think a lot of the time in the West, everything is about comparison, having more than the other person, even if it's, subliminal. And that's the cycle we get caught up in. And so then we push hard, not for ourselves, we're pushing hard for what it looks like externally. And that's
Yeah.
the trap.
Thank you very much, Subhan. Thank you for your invaluable nuggets and invaluable time. So hopefully we've added some value to the viewers, and then they'll take this up. Okay. So
Yeah.
have a great evening.
Yes. Thank you. Thank you for having me. And yeah, hopefully it offers something to some people. And yeah, reach out if you want to speak about anything, about these things.
Thank you. Good night.